So, Netflix, everyone's favorite streaming service, they have filed a complaint with the FCC, Federal Communications Commission. They say that watching television shows on the internet is no longer a novelty, and that caps on data usage are holding everyone back. And of course, they are referring to the data usage caps that companies like Comcast, AT&T, they say you can only use this much data in a certain month, and they will either, slow down your internet connection, or they will charge you with overages, all this stuff. And this kind of relates a lot to, let me fix this audio again. Sorry, we're having to keep doing this here.
Why can't you just figure it out?
All right, is that better? Somewhat. Okay. So Netflix is basically saying, hey, that's not fair for you guys to be doing this. It's not only hurting our business, it is hurting people who want to stream everything. All right, and I'm sure I have no love for Comcast. Okay?
You're insulting my television provider.
They're my television provider too.
Oh.
Except, if you'll notice, I'm wearing a Google Fiber t-shirt. And I can't wait.
Google Fiber has been stopping up these roads, man. I hate Google Fiber.
Well, once they're done with it, and you'll have a better internet option.
Is it not? So it's not ready yet?
No, that's why they're working on it. But
that's a whole other topic. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, and in our area of the country, there's a lot of talk about them doing construction on the road and all this stuff. But Netflix is basically going after internet providers, saying, it's not fair for you to have data caps, because people apparently are hitting data caps that are watching Netflix as though it were television, like all the time. And like I said, I don't really like Comcast. They do some shady stuff as it is, but at the same time, Comcast built their network. They built it. They own it. They can do whatever they want to do with the network. I'm really tired of companies like Netflix, who didn't build a network. They have a service. That's it. And their service just happens to rely on companies like Comcast and AT&T.
Yeah, Netflix doesn't seem to know their place in this.
Well, and so that's why, what are they doing? They're going to the government. They're saying, hey, FCC, this isn't fair. This isn't fair because it's affecting our customers. It's like, without these companies, you wouldn't be able to do what you're doing.
And see, the sad thing to me, though, which I don't know how many people will agree with this, but with this whole binge watching kind of phenomenon that is sweeping everything, which personally I don't really understand binge watching, but anyways, are people that obsessed with these shows and Netflix stuff that they have to do it wherever they go where they're using data? Is it not enough to just watch it at your house under the Wi-Fi?
Well, that's the thing. Even home internet, that's what they're talking about. Home internet has data caps. Like
Comcast doesn't.
It does.
It used to.
They don't.
Or do they make it a lot higher?
Well, I think they made it higher. I know the last time Comcast told me I had a data cap, it was something like 300 gigabytes. It was a ridiculously large amount of data in 1 month to use.
Yeah.
But the thing is if you watch Netflix for 6 hours a day, you're going to hit that data limit.
Don't watch that much TV.
Well,
go outside. When was the last time you saw a tree? Just saying.
But okay, and here's so a little bit of background. I used to work for an internet service provider. It wasn't Comcast. It wasn't AT&T. It was a much smaller provider. Certain users that used a lot of data, they would get managed. And when we say managed, we mean their speed gets slowed down, because they are, and it used a cellular technology. Even though it was home internet, you got an antenna to put inside your house that was also the modem. So it was all wireless. You plugged it into the wall. You ran a cable to your computer or router, and you were set to go. And people would, they would be downloading tons of stuff. They'd be torrenting, which is illegal. When you torrent and you just download shows and all that stuff. And on top of that, they'd be streaming a bunch. So people would call and they would complain, and they'd be like, hey, now my internet's really slow. And we could look up when they would be getting managed, and we'd be like, you are in the top 10% of the users on this particular cell tower. We have to slow your connection down, because how networks work is, yes, you have a pipeline coming into your house for data, but everyone else in your network is going into the same big pipe. When everyone's using it at the same time, people's speeds are going to be slow. If everyone is watching Netflix at the same time, you're not going to get high quality video anyway. So that's why they put data caps on there. It is a way to make money. I'm not going to make any excuses for them.
But it's also kind of necessary, right?
It is kind of necessary. It's to say, like, hey, please don't go crazy with all the data.
But above all else, it's their decision, and Netflix and the government shouldn't have any say in that.
Correct. They built the network, not Netflix, not the government. So they kind of get to govern it. They get to make the rules for what happens on their network. So, and the thing is that's fine. Someone else will come along with another network, and they'll say, hey, Comcast, either my limits are much higher than yours, or I don't have any limits. Now, if they don't have any limits and they get people on there, they may end up crashing their network. That's another real possibility, is the network can get so overused that it just crashes and shuts off for everybody. You want that to happen, Netflix? Then no one can watch your videos. So with this whole thing, like, it's not just Netflix isn't just going to bat for you as the customer. It's affecting their business too. They want more and more people watching more and more of their stuff. They want more and more money, just like Comcast does. The only difference is they're complaining to, the hall monitor or the teacher. It's basically that. They're saying they're doing something unfair over there. They're tattling.
And it's like they're complaining about a system that they made their program for. Like, they didn't, like you said, they didn't make the system. And
they're benefiting from someone else's work.
And they're complaining and asking someone to change something that they made, which supports what they made. That's like that's like there being like a baseball stadium, and it rains, and you're like, hey, sky, don't rain. I made my baseball stadium around you.
Yeah.
So as I say, like, that's just.
So, well, let me just give you some numbers here. I don't have them pulled up, so it may take me a minute or two. How much internet traffic is Netflix? 2016 State of the Internet report.
This is going to be depressing.
So, in 2015, it was revealed that Netflix video service accounted for 37% of peak downloaded internet traffic in North America, more than doubling YouTube and coming well ahead of Apple's iTunes. That is the largest share of internet traffic for any company to be using. And it seems like, 37% doesn't sound like a lot. No. That is a lot. Especially when you consider that most internet usage is just video streaming services in general, when you take Netflix, YouTube, and anything else that plays videos into account. So yeah, they're using a ton of traffic usage. And I use Netflix. I maybe watch an hour and a half of it a day, if I even get to watch it that day. Don't go crazy with it. And you know what? If Google Fiber comes to your town, they don't have limits, switch over to Google Fiber, but don't tell Comcast what they can and cannot do. Let them make their own business decisions, and Netflix, you can manage your own business decisions.
Where's Google Fiber going right now in the States? Like, what states?
I know it started in Kansas City. and I'm not sure. It's basically the larger metropolitan areas around the country.
So like most capital cities probably.
Capital cities, major cities, yeah, that kind of thing.